We already began a subject which we have started rolling 1 hour back on the importance of Krishna conscious family life, and I welcome those who have come a little late, and I'd like to give you a small recap, if possible, in a few minutes of what this topic is all about. Essentially, it pertains to all of us in a very direct and relevant manner because we are all sitting here, our family members, we are all Grihasthas. Family life is difficult in itself, but Krishna consciousness also is difficult to practice in the modern age. But the fact is, it has been seen that if we can combine Krishna consciousness with family life nicely, then family life represents like a springboard, a platform on which you can perform Krishna consciousness very easily and very blissfully. The arti was going on, and I just a spark of a thought in my mind, and the arti was going on. Think of this topic today as performing an arti. In performing an arti, you have a lamp, what was a kodyu or a lamp, right? And then you have ghee and the flame, right? So the flame, what does the flame represent? The flame represents our desire to serve the Lord. And the ghee, which supplies the vat, right? The ghee is all those things we do in our practical life to support our bhakti, our chanting, our ekadashis, and our various vratas we follow, and Srimad Bhagavatam classes, and coming here to the temple, following this service and that service. All these are those which supply fuel for the ongoing flame of bhakti to keep burning. However, to support the flame and the ghee, we require a ghee lamp. If you do not have a ghee lamp, the ghee will leak away and even the flame will stop burning. Family life is that particular ghee lamp which supports all that we do. And if the ghee lamp were to break or a crack in that, whatever we are doing, however wonderful, it will have a very short shelf life. Right? And therefore we are talking today not about the flame or the ghee or the vat, but about the support systems required so we can have a continuous, what we call as ahetuki apritada bhakti. That uninterrupted bhakti can only take place in the environment of a peaceful family life. When recounting, all of us here are married, maybe some are unmarried, but you know this, that when you have marriage, our Purohit will perform what we call as Shanti Home, and they will chant various mantras to purify the atmosphere in our lives, and they always end by saying Om Shanti, 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 right? And that's not a ritual, that's not just said. It is expected that Shanti will prevail henceforth in our family life as we enter into the Grihastha ashram, right? So the goal of Krishna consciousness, the goal of all of us should be that how can we create an atmosphere in the house which is peaceful enough so we can execute this beautiful process which Prabhupada gave us in an uninterrupted manner. And this is the only way we can prevent that kalaha. Kali Yuga means kalaha, Kali kalaha, right? They go together practically. Otherwise, when kalaha threatens to break down this ghee lamp, and the ghee lamp is broken in thousands upon thousands of families, in the form of divorces, separations, marital conflicts, court cases, etc. The ghee lamp breaks. And no matter what they're doing else in life, the ghee lamp is broken. There is nothing to sustain their very life, their very existence is at stake, right? So the goals of Grihastha ashram are defined. The Vedic literature defines as to why do we all enter into the family life. It is not for economic convenience. It is not only just for emotional support. It is not just for camaraderie and friendship. These are byproducts, right? The Vedic literatures are very clear in the direction, and they never mince their words, right? The purpose and design of Grihastha life is to bring about an atmosphere together with husband and wife such that that sacred bond which they love to practice among themselves is then made into an offering to Krishna. that the bond is made as Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Right?
Can we push it a bit?
So as we were just discussing about the goals, we were just remembering that when one of the centers where we had gone to give a seminar, there were like this 200 people in the audience, and we asked them that how many of you all have seen a stable marriage in your parents at home? Can you please raise your hands? You all are all Gujaratis, Indians. Maybe you all have seen, but over there where we asked the question, out of 200 people, 8 people put up their hands. Only 8 people had seen among their parents a happy, stable, married bond. As you were saying that the statistic says that 70% of marriages end in divorce, but where would it, nobody ever says that the rest of the 30% are very happily married. They just stay together because some social stigma is there, or for the children's sake, or just, like now at this age, what to do? Already half the life has gone. So many thought processes will come. Yeah, Nabhavi level. Right? So we just stick along. But we are not able to be happy. So that's what, the goal of our seminars is, that how we can try to use the Krishna consciousness, which we are getting so profoundly from association, from our books, from our sadhana, and try to apply it to our life. Because as we know, temple environment is like a school, college, or university where you learn the theory. But where is the laboratory? Right? We study theory and you have practicals, the practical exams. And many times we score very well in theory, but we really score bad, or we fail in our practicals. But then the average comes out good, so we dhakka maar ke pass. You get passed. But we want to know how we can try to even excel in our practicals. Because we may be able to say Trinadapi Sunichena in the temple, Taroriva Sahishnuna. But when the practical opportunity comes to practice Trinadapi, we become like which grass and which tree you are talking about. No Trina and no that's it. That you sometimes feel that all this is good for books in the temple, but home, you don't understand my situation at home. If you were in my situation, you would know.
Actually saying, I'm thinking, what would be happening? I'm just going with her part. And husband wife, suppose banne jane is devotees. Okay, samjha badhu samjha. That's what the dialogue will take place. That अब तो બધું સારું લાગે મંદિરમાં અહીંયા બધું મજા ના Okay, so yes, let's go a little further and so Vice Custom, some important. We already flashed the goals. Hopefully you have read them. But let's not forget the Grihastha ashram, whatever it is the most safest of ashrams. Right? Very safe ashram to be in, endorsed by none other than Thakur Bhakti Vinod. That is, it is the safe. It may not be very fast, like a sannyas ashram or brahmacharya, very fast train, but it is maybe a slow train stopping at all stations. But the goal is assured, and if you just stick around there, you will reach. But this ashram gives birth to other ashrams as well. Brahmacharis, other Grihasthas, all ashrams are born from Grihastha ashram, right? It sustains. I think one of the most beautiful things which we all are privileged to do, and I was looking at this donation plaque here, golden and platinum and all that, right? that privilege of giving Lakshmi to the Lord and His projects is only lying with us. And how beautiful is that we have the capacity to earn money, and yet we can sanctify that money so beautifully by offering it at the feet of the Lord. So it sustains all other ashrams, and that's something which we are privileged as Grihastha to do. right? And of course, there are various service opportunities which are there. Because we take up this responsibility on behalf of the Lord to take care of the family members, the Lord and the very just gives us some benefits. It gives you the privacy of our own home. It gives you domestic shelter. You have the pleasure of food. Everybody knows every woman would have one question in the morning every day to her husband. Aje su khavu chhe? Right? Everybody's house, my house included, right? And that Aje su khavu chhe? And there you are, brahmachari sannyasis, they never get this question, Aje su khavu chhe? Right? Je banu chhe, khavanu chhe.
Whatever is there.
Whatever is there, they have to eat. But we get this question asked, and therefore we can even put an order, Aje for son, tomorrow something, right? So that pleasure we have is security. You have the pleasure of included sex life as well, and therefore the pleasure of emotional support and togetherness, right? So there's some of the great benefits which, because we serve the Lord, we get as perks on behalf of the Lord. So I talked about training a few minutes back, and that we need to recognize that much of the mess which is there in family life today all over the world, because this is such a neglected topic, is always kept away from training, right? Just no training takes place. Anything, any activity in human life, whether it's cooking or car driving or dancing or medical practice, law practice, anything, right? Always goes with training. But how many of you sitting in this room, did you ever get training on how to conduct your family life?
You mean official training?
Official training.
Official training.
Or unofficial also.
Or even unofficially, then how much have parents actually given that time to share that, maybe women a little more possible, because they have to get transferred, right? to a new environment, they will probably get something. जो पहला करना चाहिए वो नहीं करती हैं. So that dialogue you will hear many times, right? But boys, well, but in all that, so the training is very poor, very very poor.
Many times we plan our weddings, but we don't plan our marriages. Is there a difference?
Yes.
Because wedding planning includes menu, catering, the hall, the decoration, the shopping, jewelry, all of that. Ready for the wedding? Yes, I am ready. But are you ready here? Because wedding means change, right? The seminar which was advertised means from I to we. Today is the I generation. I just think about myself. I am happy or no. Today I am not happy, then I don't feel happy in this relationship. So what do you want to do? Change. And we feel that I can change a mobile, I can change a car for a better model, so I can change a partner for a better model, So that change culture has come and contaminated our society today. Things are okay when it comes to things, but when it becomes a habit, it percolates even into relationships. Like this uncle had his 60th anniversary, a couple was celebrating, and somebody asked him, Uncle, what is the secret of your 60th anniversary? Something rare, you want to know, right? That how did you manage 60 years? So he said, Beta, in our generation, if our cloth tore, there was a hole, we would take a sui dhaga and stitch it. But you guys are from the disposable generation. Disposable plates, disposable cups, everything disposable. So if the relationship there is a hole, you dispose it off. You don't even think twice. That's why they say, love at first sight and divorce at first fight. Finished. Immediately, where did all the things go? The good time you shared together on honeymoon and nice time for the first few years, while it was what? Now divas. It was only for a few days where we could put up a picture, but with outsiders you can. But when you have to live with a life partner, is it possible? No. So we need training, means we have to plan. So that's why sometimes we talk about the concept of marriage of married people. Does that make sense? We might be married, but what is marriage? So as in the first session we were explaining, vivaha, we say marriage is vivaha, means it is a vishesh vahan. Now if you get a special car, will you treat it anyhow? you'll be so careful. "Arey, arey, please close the door gently, you know." Imagine the new car you have got, you won't slam the door. So if somebody says, you know, if you slam the door and you, either the car is old or your wife is old. If your wife is, you want to impress, then you know, you take care of it nicely. Anything new, when you have newly painted your house, you say, "Arey, arey, arey," you know, there will be some scratch, be careful. After 5-6 scratches are there, even 5-6 more are there, what difference it makes? So even that mentality comes in relationship. That when it is new, we try to be careful. I don't want to hurt, I don't want to do this. But when we reach, we see over here that there are many middle-aged married people. Already we've been married for some years. So you say like half the, now what difference it makes? And sometimes we think that even if we don't treat each other, okay, kya jawana hai?
Where should we go?
Where are you going to go? How far? You know? So then you feel, who wants to think? Yeah, life just goes on. You know, it just goes on. But just think about it, that how much pleasure it could give if we could just improve even by 5%. So when we have seminar, we give this underlying request that your relationship might be 75% good. Maybe it is 90% good. But can you make it 95? Can you make it 92? We just want to enhance. It's not that if you have a broken relation, only you think about it. Okay, it's not broken now. When it reaches till breaking, I'll think about it. But prevention is always better than cure. So why not be proactive? How I can make it good? Wouldn't we like to make something better
Yeah.
than it is? You can see everybody.
Yeah, of course, it is a journey of two beautiful people together. And as on any journey, there will always be some challenges, right? And that's what the training is all about, to become aware about the challenges, which are not surprising. What are the challenges commonly like, right? Some misunderstandings will be there, right? And there'll be some unfulfilled expectations will be there, right? Some amount of, quarrelsome nature will be there. Some sort of personality traits will be there. Some bad habits would have been there from past baggage brought from previous time. There could be all these things which you bring along with you. Your upbringing is there, which is favorable, maybe unfavorable. You learned bad language, you had bad upbringing, you had bad culture in the house. So you bring that all into the table and you get married. And that will definitely create what? Challenges. It will definitely create some challenges, right? Therefore, training means that we all become aware that challenges will be there, that it is not going to be a bed of roses as is shown in Hindi movies. Right? It is not like that you just run around trees and sing songs, right? With hand in hand. It is not like that. So the reality of life is different. There will be struggles, there will be emotional storms which will rock your relationship, right? But the power of synergy is so strong, and that when Purush and Prakriti, husband is Purush, Stri is Prakriti, when Purush and Prakriti can come together, they can sustain any pralaya of life, right? And that's the power that God gives a person who has bonded to his wife and husband in a very, very meaningful and deep manner. They can sustain anything. But when that bond itself cracks, they cannot sustain anything. Yeah? Yeah, Sita. Yeah, Sita Ram. We are just so close to Ram Navami, right? All the happiness of their life was when they're together. But when Sita was stolen away, what happened? Right? The whole thing was you have to fight a whole war to make things happen. Right? So even Ram had challenges in his married life. Or the Lord himself, his life is not something which is like, oh, bed of roses. And Ram and Sita having a good time in Chitrakoot and Nasik. No, there was Aparan was there. The Lord's wife was kidnapped. Can you believe that? Right? So then we will have challenges also. And then the Ram, of course, when we learn something from Ramayana like that. So the point is that how do we really go about making the strength of the bond so strong that the bond is able to sustain all challenges of life, right? So I'm a little scientific fellow. So when I think of bonds, I think of, in chemistry we used to remember some of us Because remember, there's a single bond, a double bond, and you have a covalent bonds, and then you have a triple bond also, right? So, I just revised the chemistry in 3 minutes, a little bit here and there, but it's relevant to our discussion. Why? Because a single bond, when you put NaCl, sodium chloride, in water, what happens? It becomes salty. That's true. That's all part of chemistry. But it ionizes into sodium ions, cations, and chloride anions. Right? The bond is so very weak, right, that it doesn't sustain when simple water touches it. Right? But when you have magnesium sulfate double bond coming in, a little less ionization takes place. But when you have triple bond, something like carbon atoms, right? When you put in water, nothing happens. Right? So we had shown in the beginning 3 C's. That slide was in the first in the beginning. The 3 C's. When you have triple bonded marriage, right? A triple bonded means that there are 3 C's are there. And 3 C's. C for character, C for commitment to the bond, and the C for actual care. Right? When any marriage, when it is founded in morality and character, right? When there is commitment and there is genuine care between each other, then right. So let's now go a little forward in our discussion, having discussed the basics of Grihastha ashram, requirements, goals, challenges, etc. Right? One of the ways of really dealing with the challenges is to first understand how God, how the Lord has made man and how He has made woman. Right? Of the two, and not surprisingly, the woman get precedence in terms of their power to sustain the fabric of human society. Right? So we need to understand the role of women in Vedic culture, or a Hindu culture, or an Indian culture, or in a Varnashram dharma, whatever the name seems to fit with you. Right? So what is the role of women? Because you may remember from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, that in Vedic culture, 5 things are those things which stabilize society, and a progressive human society, a progressive society would be where these 5 things are nurtured and taken care of. What are those 5 things? The cows, the women, the elderly, the children, and the Vaishnavas, the Brahmanas, right? So, where in any society where these 5 are taken care of, and ISKCON, of course, is a leader in this. Prabhupada society is, in our society, we take the lead. The very foundation is we take care of cows, there are goshalas, there are farm communities which we have, we take care of our children. It's so beautiful to see children playing Mridanga today, saying Nashinga prayers. So many temples, they are encouraged, right? And then we have the Brahmanas, we take care of our sannyasis, our brahmacharis. So we respect our Vaishnava communities, right? And of course, we take care of our women, right? Because the very first few things we all learned when we came to ISKCON society was addressing a woman as Mataji, right? And something which is such a sacred word. Chandik Pandit says, Matravat Paradareshu. The beginning of morality is to start seeing all women other than your own good wife as the role of a mother, right? And so beautiful, right? And women are, we can elaborate later, but women are considered to be, even in a few generations ago, when the Bahu would come to the house, Sasuji would address her as, "Ghar mein kaun aayi hai? Lakshmi aayi hai." Right? And why? Why are women considered as deities, murtis of prosperity? Because when the husband and the entire family, the sasu, the sasur, everybody else were there, when they take care of a woman nicely, with love, respect, and care, her joy and happiness assures the emergence of Sukh and Samruddhi in the family. And vice versa, the woman is tormented, harassed, insulted, belittled, ridiculed. Then, if her tears fall from her eyes to the ground, then her family gets destroyed. Right? The 2 biggest wars in history, Ramayana and Mahabharata, are both because of abuse of women. Right? And because of that, you can see dynasties and millions of people were killed because two chaste women were insulted, were humiliated. Right? So, it is imperative that men learn the science of giving the due respect which women deserve. Right? And whenever women are neglected in modern world, women are treated as objects of sense gratification. They are exploited, right? They are made into toys of sensual pleasures, right? And therefore, you can see that it's the most degraded Ravana-like society, right? We must say this because it is true in front of Lord Ram. It is like a Ravana-like society, right? And if we take care of women properly, what happens? When women are protected, it brings out the best within them. When they're not protected, on the other hand, their worst side comes out. So it is said, after marriage, there is something called as Srimati Radharani, and other side is called as Durga. Right? Durga or Lakshmi, Radharani and Lakshmi ji will carry a nice rose or a nice lotus flower, right? And Chandika never carries a lotus flower. Chandika carries a Trishul. She has 8 hands, she is doing samhar. She is a deity of samhar, right? So when the women folk are abused by human society, right, then they all emerge as Chandikas of human society. They just destroy, right? But when they are taken care of nicely, right? And Prabhupada did that. And whoever came to him within his film of his society, Prabhupada was so intelligent, so pure, so visionary, that he took both men and women together, combined them together in the form of marriage, and then engaged them in Krishna's service. And how much service the women have done for ISKCON, right? Unbelievable, right? From Arati to fund correction, and never forget the 3 first couples, right? In 1968, Prabhupada sent them to London. The unconquerable London, which sannyasis had failed before 1936, right, were conquered by 3 Grihasthas, right? So we can see when the power of synergy of men and women come together, they can do great things for human society. So that brings us, having talked about women, in Manasam Dharma, when you get married, there is what is called as kartavya. Kartavya, right? Before we become bhakti-may, we have to become kartavya nishtha, right? In fact, there is no bhakti without kartavya, right? Before we perform bhakti, bhakti is the advanced stage, but the foundation of bhakti is to first perform our, what Prabhupada called as kartavya, as prescribed duties, right? So, a brahmachari has his prescribed duty, a wife is her prescribed duty, husband has his prescribed duty, right? So, I'm sure all of you are already performing this. It may appear like a, talking about duty. I'm saying, I think you're already doing that, right? But it's good if you're doing it. It's a reinforcement that you're doing it already. If some of us are neglecting it, it's something which we need to refresh our mind that maybe this is the area of improvement required. So let's see what the duties of a good husband would be like. The first one thing would be to be genuinely loving, caring, and affectionate to his wife. Right? Genuinely. To care. To care for women are taking photographs. Men, be ready for the next slide. Okay. So, the husband understands and appreciates. This is very important, that how much she is helping him in his devotional service, right? All of us men know this, but we should say the obvious thing. When the woman is sick in the house, what happens to the house? Everything simply collapses, right? Just one woman is sick, she's bedridden because of flu or whatever, right? And then everything comes to a complete, the fridge is there, the microwave is there, everything is there, but chulai nahi jalta hai. Right? So the thing is, we are heavily dependent on that, and it would be worth sometimes saying that, I deeply appreciate this in you, right? to never, to never neg-
I was remembering,
Oh yes, yes, I got a signal, so
I was remembering this one story that had come on the net, that this husband comes home from work one day, and he enters into the car, the gate. The main gate was open. And then he comes inside, and the door of the building was also, of the apartment was also open. So he walks inside and he sees that the whole living room is in a disarray. The cushions are on the ground, and all the toys of the children are littered everywhere, and I mean, the books are, magazines are on the floor, the newspaper is kept open, and the flowers are wilted in the vase, and he wonders, like, where is my wife? And he goes inside to look for her in the kitchen, and he sees the kitchen was worse than the living room. The sink was overflowing with vessels, and the cooking pots were still on the gas with all the spilled, overflown dal and milk and everything. The table was, all the eaten dishes were on the table, the spoons were there, and the dustbin was overflowing with the peels of the vegetable, the knife and the everything, scraper, everything was lying, cutting board on the kitchen, and the things spilled, oil spilled on the floor. So he said, "Well, maybe she's gone to the washroom." Goes to the washroom and he sees the soap is on the floor, the shampoo bottle is open, the oil dhakkan is on, and some is dripping on the floor. The towel is lying on the floor of the bathroom, and goes to the children's room, and that also is in a mess. The school bag is open and the toys are littered. And then he goes, "Where is she?" And he goes up in the bedroom and he sees that she's lying on the bed and reading something. So he goes and he said, "What happened?" So he said, "No, why?" He said, "Look at the house." He said, "No, nothing happened. Every day you come home and you say, 'What do you do whole day?' So I just didn't do what I do every day, so that you can know what I do whole day."
Yeah. I think they deserve a bigger clap than this. honestly, with all fairness, they do a lot. I mean, anyway, we won't get into that too much. Right? So, however, the fourth point here is very beautiful, right? They do all the household work, and we appreciate that. However, this, if you look at it, like she said, it is like a car, right? The journey like a car, vahan. So, if it's a car, there has to be a steering, right? So, the husband he has to be at the steering, because it is his shastric understanding, his understanding of life and its goals, and it is he who gives the direction to the entire family. And the wife plays a beautiful role of being the engine of the car, right? As long as the husband's direction is fine, the engine will support. And the engine supports fully, it can go on fourth gear at 120 miles an hour, right? Top speed, kingdom of God, right? So this way they play what is called as a synergistic role. So his duty is to train her and guide her in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he is a spiritual leader of the family, right? He has to be responsible for a physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, right? So it's not just enough to take care of roti, kapda, makan. That is obviously done by even birds and animals, right? However, he takes care of her emotional needs, even more important, and finally, he assures. So therefore, the whole person of the wife, he takes care of, right? He becomes spiritually qualified and steadfast in bhakti through good sadhana. Therefore, while the wife is doing all the household work, the husband's focus has to be that he is deeply rooted. Husband has to pay a good amount of time to hear, because hearing of Guru Sadhu Shastra reading makes his intelligence completely sharpened, right? So that when the difficulties come in life, in no way makes the ship of the Grihastha life start sinking, but he is very clear how to deal with all the challenges because of his tremendous amount of Shakti which is his gain from his deep Shastra understanding of life. Roti Kapda Makan, we already talked about that. And faithful and devoted. I think the word faithful is very important, right? Right? Yeah. The last one also talks about that. Yeah. and to never ill-treat her, beat her, insensitive to her feelings, right? You might be surprised why we write the word beat here, right? Because uh, for example, sometimes we may have seen that in our families, right? That the father beat the mother. It is true, my dear friends, that uh, the boys will unconsciously land up doing the same things to their wives that they saw their father doing to their mother, right? And vice versa, right? So if we have seen violent behavior in the house, even if one is in a cultured, Krishna conscious household, that baggage of unconscious impact on his consciousness may erupt from time to time, and he may physically, unfortunately, abuse his good wife, right? And is absolutely not becoming. And there's no way we can justify that, right? Um, so this is not uncommon somehow there, unfortunately, even in devotee circles. So it's worth talking about it, that if that trait is there, we need to be conscious that this is also Vaishnav Aparad. It is so beautiful when you see the second last point, to see her as a sacred property of Krishna, right? In traditional ISKCON societies, in the beginning when we came in, we were taught that woman is fire and man is butter, right? That's okay as long as you're not married, right? But once you get married, we realize that actually we see in a different light. That it is the Supreme Lord, out of His tremendous kindness, who has given this woman into my life, who is His daughter, right? And I have this sacred and beautiful duty of taking care of Krishna's daughter, right? And so when you see your wife not just as your own property, right? And we say everything belongs to Krishna. So your wife also belongs to Krishna, right? And it is not that means she is not yours, but she is yours and taking care of her on behalf of Supreme Lord. So the moment we start seeing our wives as property of Krishna, then so much more our respect and the way we deal with her will change. And imagine the atmosphere if we were to follow these duties properly, as is enshrined here in this beautiful slide, right? If all of us men were to really take it to heart to treat our beautiful partners, our blessed wives in this way, imagine a transformation of the house and what will really happen, right? And to be especially considerate and kind to her in difficult times like pregnancy, after delivery, and childbirth, right? There's a time when the woman needs your emotional support the most, right? And last but not the least at all, to be fidel, to be faithful to her, right? And this is something which obviously needs to be stressed, because the amount of epidemic rise of extra marital affairs is something which ISKCON is ashamed of. That even in Vaishnava society like ourselves, which we have the topmost teachings of purity and love to the Lord, that we are not bereft from this malady, this curse, this black spot in our society, where even our society people do fall prey, unfortunately, to this very low and diabolical, trait which we carry, right? So when we marry, we follow Ram's footsteps for sure, right? And Ram had so many people who are asking for marriage. In fact, even people like Dandakaranya, the rishis were attracted to him in conjugal love. But Ram said very clearly, in this avatar, Eka Patni Vrata, right? When I come as Krishna, then I can marry all of you, because Krishna is Lila Purushottam. Not so. When it comes to we worship in this temple the beautiful forms of Sita Ram, right? We don't just worship them with flowers and nice dresses and arti. We also take deeply into our hearts their example and their teachings, right? So all of us men need to bolster strongly, as said, the first C is character, right? And Prabhupada said very clear, he said, there is no question of philosophy without character. There is no question of bhakti without character. Bhakti is the further step when the foundation of character is first laid down, right? Therefore, we need to fight our vices. Good men and sometimes fall prey to pornography, right? And that destroys them spiritually, destroys their family life, destroys entire culture, right? And it's something which is so easily available today because of technology, right? So we make ourselves aware that there are pitfalls with the modern lifestyle placed in front of every man, right? And we take shelter of the process, of the process. Cheto, the process is here. We have our difficulties, we have our weaknesses, we have our problems, we have our challenges because we are conditioned sinful souls, right? Nonetheless, we don't give in to them, but we strongly take shelter of the process of association, of good sadhana, and sincerely and helplessly chanting holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We move on to the next topic of
So they mentioned that we do dramas every year in our temple. So one year we did the drama of Lord Chaitanya takes sannyas. Beautiful drama. And the theme, the key scene in that drama would be the separation, the talk between Sachimata and Lord Chaitanya. The mother's feelings when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leaving home to accept sannyas. And it's like a very intimate role. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a wife, Vishnu Priya. So when we do our dramas, we make sure that the role of a husband and wife is played by the actual life husband and wife. Not that somebody else's husband becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and somebody else's wife becomes, because it is not good Vaishnava etiquette and it's embarrassing and it's an awkward situation. So that was okay. We took Prabhuji and his wife was Vishnu Priya. But now the mother also had to physically interact with the man. Right? So now we were thinking whom to give that role. So we thought and we said, I think we have to make a Prabhuji into a Mataji to play the role of Sachi Mata. So we approached one of our devotees and we said, Prabhu, will you play the role of Sachi Mata? So he said, but can you explain me my role? What does it entail? What I have to do? So it took us almost like 2.5 to 3 hours to explain him what emotions he'll have to have, how he'll have to walk, how he'll have to talk, how he'll have to behave. It took a long time to train him, right? And then when the drama was there, everybody applauded the role of Shachimata so much. They couldn't even recognize that it's not a Mataji. It became so good. And then we were just retrospectively thinking that how was he successful? Because he understood his role properly. So when we are talking about duty here, it's very important that I understand what is my duty and role. It's not that it's automatic. Usually, family people learn by trial and error mistake, right? You do something and you make a mistake and then you overcome it. But training helps us in trying to understand our role proactively. And then we can, do the drama of our life in a better way. Is it? So, that's why we say that we need to understand roles. But in today's day and age, what has happened is there is some identity crisis going on many times. There was one time a king and he had with his whole ministry, he was going to go for a hunting expedition. And he had a santri, you know what's a santri? A watchman, chowkidar type of soldier. And the next day they were going to go for hunting. And the soldier comes and says, Maharaj, please don't go for hunting tomorrow. They say, why? They say, because I had a dream. And in the dream I saw that if you go for hunting, some tribal people are going to come and attack and you may lose your life. So then everybody started feeling, what is the value of what this soldier says? But then the ministers were thinking that just 1%, if his thought, our foresight is true, intuition is true, why risk the king? Hunting to any other time you can go. So then they said, but we made all the arrangements, so let the rest of the ministers and all go ahead, but the king will not go. Maharaj will not go. So they all went and actually it happened that a whole tribe attacked and all of them were killed. And only one minister escaped and he came back to the kingdom and said, Maharaj, thank God you didn't come. You should reward this soldier. Because of him today our king has been saved. So, he was called into the courtroom. in front of all those ministers who are there. And then the king said that I want to reward you. Take this, you have saved my life, and we are very grateful. Give a handsome reward to the to the soldier. And when the soldier was feeling so happy and grateful, when he was about to leave the courtroom, he said, "But 1 minute, from tomorrow you don't come on job." So he said, "My God, what a reward, right? Just one time in case, but I'm losing my job." So everybody was also confused. He said, "Why?" He said, "Because he is a soldier and he is a watchman. He's supposed to be awake. But the fact that he had a dream, that means he was sleeping. That means he was not performing his role properly, right? So even though you may do expertly somebody else's role, but if you do not do your role properly, still you could land up in a mess, right? So when we are talking about the defined roles, the prescribed duties, obviously because of today's changing scenario, we need to share responsibilities and the roles need to be done, doing the needful type of thing. But the intrinsic quality, like we say, what is the intrinsic quality of sugar? It's sweetness. What is the intrinsic quality of salt? It is saltiness. Water is liquid, ice is solid. So there are some intrinsic qualities of a man and intrinsic qualities and duties of a woman. So that if we do, and you can do add-on other things, then there could still be stability. But if we just say that no, I am going to just switch roles, it doesn't work. So Prabhuji just said the duties of a husband. So what is the to-do list for women? If you could think of it, there was a game on TV at our time which it used to come. What's the good word? So if the women were to ask, what's the good word in one word for the duty of a woman, what would you say that good word is? One word which could describe all your duties.
Sacrifice.
We didn't ask the men. Sacrifice, yes. Support. Support was the word that we were looking for, right? Many times during yagyas and pujas, when the men do yagya, they put the ahuti, and what does the woman do? She touch him. That means her whole support is there. She doesn't need to perform the yagya. So according to our scriptures, whatever services and spiritual credits the men get, women get 50% of it automatically if you have supported women. Good deal, right? So better you just keep supporting. Let them do. Even if you don't do anything, you sit and get 50%. Better. Huh? You are going to get. So what is the meaning of a supportive role? Again, I would like to share a story that there was one king in Gujarat, and one fine day he just saw that a whole army was coming to attack Gujarat, and it was a Persian king that was coming, and these people also readied their army to face the attack. And suddenly he saw that the Persian king sent one of his senapatis to come to his kingdom with a glass of milk. You would think, on the brink of a war, this milk and all that. But in olden days, people were very intelligent. Vidur, when he had to give a message to Yudhishthir, he just said, who stays in a tunnel? Rat. And who can survive a forest fire? A rat. So Yudhishthir Maharaj got the message. He didn't need a purport and an explanation that what are you saying, rat and tunnel and forest fire, I don't understand it. So Akalman ko ishara kafi, So in olden days people were intelligent, more, they could understand the message. So here he said, okay, the glass of milk has come. So he told his minister, bring sugar. He added sugar to it and he sent the glass back. And immediately the Persian king turned away and went. And the king over here was, the subjects were wondering, what did you do? They saying he sent milk. If I would have put limbu in it and fortified the milk, that meant that I am asking for war. But what did I do? I put sugar. So I sent a message of friendship. I want to increase the sweetness of our relationship. So they say that when a girl comes into the house, right, she can either come like a limbu or she can come like a sugar. Either it can increase the sweetness of the house, right? In olden days, the girls were scared. What type of house I will go into? how will the father-in-law be, how will the mother-in-law, how will the husband be. Today, when we do premarital training sessions, we come to know that the boys are more scared than the girls are. And the boys' families are more scared because they said because of modernization and wanting to switch roles, the family doesn't know okay what type of girl will come. Will she make my house or break my house? Because that power the woman has. Am I right? If a woman is stable, no matter how difficult the family situation is, if she, in Gujarati we say sambhali le, whatever it is, if she just sambhalos, not that the onus is only on her, I'm not trying to say that, but if she could do that, then no matter how unreasonable the man is, it could still work. That doesn't give the license to the men to be, unreasonable. But what I'm just trying to say is that's the power that a woman has in her. So if we can play this supportive role to increase the sweetness, it could enhance the sweetness of the relationship. So just to go through it fast, the duties of the to-do list for the woman, the supportive role is there, but one of the most important things is our scriptures in the third canto says that a woman is like a fortress. What does it mean? She is the, what of the fort? Commander of the fort. Right? Why do you say she is the commander of the fort? Because as we discussed in the first session, in today's Kali, how many cultural influences are there? The bad influences of Kali, all the media which is bombarding our consciousness so horribly that so much temptation is available. So much temptation is there, right, to get carried away. But if the husband and wife share a good relationship at home, then she could be like a protection to the man so that his senses don't go outside. For example, when we were kids and we used to go to school, if our parents gave us upma and poha, we would open the dabba wide open like this. Anybody wants to have? Please share my dabba, And we would ask, what has your mother sent you? Pasta. What has your mother? You look into other people's dabba. But if you have puran poli or pizza or something, you'll keep your dabba like this, You don't want others to see it, and neither you are interested in what others have brought because I have a better thing with me. It's the same way. If I share a good relationship at home, then my eyes and senses don't go to other places. So when one question was asked in our seminar which we did just last week at Delaware, that Mataji, Prabhuji, you all are talking of having a good relationship and what about all the renunciation and detachment which is the goal of Krishna consciousness? You are teaching us how to get attached. What is this, what about the renunciation and what about this and what about... We said, yes, what you are saying is absolutely true. The goal is renunciation, right? But our question is, what is better? Attachment is the nature of the soul. Everybody agrees?
Yes.
What is better? To be attached to your own partner or to be attached to somebody else's partner? What is better? Obviously. And I'll get detached only after some attachment is there. We are not talking of the romantic type of attachment. But like we were, if I come to your house and I say, I'm detached from your car. But it was never your car. What detachment you are talking about? So I never had any attachment and then I'm talking of detachment. So this, we like to share this example that when we were giving this seminar for premarital boys and girls, one boy phoned us and he said, Prabhu, please bless us. We are getting married next week. Bless us to be Grihastha sannyasis. So we said, which species is this? What do you mean by a Grihastha sannyasi? You cannot torture each other by entering with a wrong notion. You are entering with a wrong notion into the ashram. So let's understand practically how we can do. So when we are talking of stable relationship at home, is mainly because of this, because of the increasing incidence of extramarital affairs for boys and girls. It's not that only men have, even girls have. One place we went, and a lady was having an extramarital affair, devotee. And then when we asked her, she's saying, why not? My husband is also having, so I'll also have. He is enjoying, so why shouldn't I? Now, is this any logic? If somebody does wrong, so I should also do wrong. Better you improve your relationship in such a way that you don't feel like doing, your mind and senses don't go outside. So that's the purpose, to preserve the sanctity of religious principles. It's a sacred bond. You cannot take it so cheaply. It is aparad, right? So when we are talking of stability, it is for this reason. It's not for having a romantic marriage. We want to preserve our religious principles, our dharma. It's a dharmic commitment which I have made. After initiation, it is one of the most important vows of my life. It's not that I'm entering into a marriage promise. Promise can be broken. It is called a marriage vow, right? It's not a promise. So we have to be very, very careful in that particular aspect. Another is, it brings a sense of sweetness in the relationship by her gentle behavior and pleasant speech, right? This time we have been giving a seminar on tongue mightier than the sword. Nice topic,
Yes.
but it's true, right? A sword can, yesterday we spoke on for 2.5 hours on this topic. A sword could cut your body, then you are dead, you don't feel the pain. But a tongue can cut you alive. Right? Your tongue could be so sharp that you are alive but you are dead. Right? And mostly it is seen that women have a sharper tongue. They could, just speak. There was a mother and she had 2 daughters. And one daughter was very, very kamagri, very hardworking, does everything in the house, and whatever the mother said, this. But she had a sharp chili flake tongue, She could just back answer and cut anybody to slashes. And the other daughter was little lazy. She wouldn't do much work and all. But very sweet tongue. Not lazy, like she wouldn't go out of her way to do many things. Basic things she would do. But a very sweet tongue person. And we know the family. Today, the daughter, who might be lazy externally, she's much happier because of the sweet tongue. And this other girl, although she's works like a donkey for her family, but the family is not happy with her. Why? Because of her. So pleasant speech is very important, because the speech has that, the tongue has that power either to give plain, it can give the greatest pain or the greatest pleasure. Just by, you don't do anything, you just speak 2 good words to somebody, how pleasant it is. So sometimes the men come home from office, and as soon as the door opens and you say, Avi kya? Bas, like, you just say, oh, you have come. Then husband feels, did I make a mistake? So it's how you say something to somebody. So it's not what you say, it's how you say that matters, right? So if we can just take care and create a pleasant environment at home, because you are the homemaker. Many times women feel very embarrassed to say that, what do you do? Oh, I am IT, I am a professor, but what do you don't like to say I am a housewife, because you feel it's like an inferior type of thing. But housewife is a more CEO type of job than being a CEO of a company, if you do it properly and responsibly, right? So people say, oh, I'm a homemaker, So you sit and make the home every day, right? So if you claim that we are homemakers, then let's make the environment at home in such a way that what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, that Grihastha Goloka Bhai. He didn't say Grihastha Kurukshetra Bhai. Kurukshetra is also a dham and Vrindavan is also a dham. But which dham you want at home, that you have to decide, right? So we all would like to live in a very peaceful, cool environment. So this speech is very important, that we should be a little more conscious when we speak, that we can create a positive environment. Affectionately raising the children, of course, in modern day, the man and the woman both have to go out of the way. It's not like the traditional role, only you produce children and the women take care. Both the people have equal responsibility to share the role. Then also pleasing the family by her good cooking skills, also taking care of family members. Like in the Indian setup, a girl doesn't marry the boy alone, they marry the whole family. So you cannot say, okay, I'll just serve my husband and please. His parents come, what a burden, you know. Like, although whatever equations are there, but if we want to please our partners, sometimes you have to make that, do that austerity of pleasing the person whom he loves also, the people whom he loves also. Keeping the house neat and clean, managing the domestic affairs, thus, you know, serving and pleasing the in-laws we mentioned. And if there is a quarrel, if we can take a lead to patch up, it's very beautiful message had come that when you say sorry, it's not because you are wrong, but because you care for the relationship. Whoever does it, the man can do it, the woman can do it, but if the women can take a lead, it becomes faster to sort out things. So these are some of the. What time do we have to end, Prabhu? Now?
You can take one or two questions.
Yeah. So yes, she's taking the photograph of the thing also. That's nice. Now, so we have outlined in brief time that we have together. Okay. All right. So one thing which we can end on a beautiful note. Like in our body, there are so many joints, right? A little bit of biology, and so many joints are there. Does anybody have a guess which is one of the strongest joints in the body? Just some guess. Is it shoulder joint, knee joint, finger joint, hip joint, right? Hip joint, right? Yeah. So hip joint. So what is a hip joint? The hip joint has a very strong, deep cup, and has a very strong and beautiful head. So the surfaces are very congruent. So they go like this. It's called as a ball and socket joint. Ball and socket joint. There are different types of joint. One of them is ball and socket joint. So you hear of shoulder dislocation, knee dislocation, but you will scarcely hear about hip joint dislocation. Even though people run, athletics and all, their joints are not replaced. So because the surfaces are exactly the way the head is made of the femur, the acetabulum also is exactly fits into that. This is what makes a good marriage, right? That is called as, Gujarati mentioned this better, it is called as purak. Purak means that both husband and wife have a complementary role. Whatever is missing after marriage, you may get along with 2-3 years with each other, you may decide not to marry, and then finally say, okay, I think that this boy is good, girl is good, get married, right? But after marriages, there is always going to be some surprises, right? But if the husband and wife realize that if I find that something is missing in my wife, rather than pinpointing it, derogatory remarks about it, whatever, right? Rather than that, what can I do as a helpful friend to help cover up that deficiency in her so that she becomes a complete person? And similarly, the husband has got always some defects. Nobody is perfect in this world, right? And the wife understands this in her deep knowledge, and she plays a role by which she can cover up the deficiencies. So we don't talk about it. When you have that role, right, then you actually complement each other. So the unit is incomplete by itself, but between husband and wife together, they are a complete unit, right? Therefore, husband and wife are called as, and wife is called as ardhangini, right? And so when they come together, so let's understand that you have deficiencies, your wife has deficiencies, both have, right? But Krishna conscious means to come together in a mood of being servant of the servant of the servant, right? Rather than boasting about the good qualities and being derogatory about the negative qualities, we are here together and make it a beautiful journey together, right? So if you have some difficulties, I'm here to help you. So the role of husband and wife is defined in so many slides, the slide we should. But the best thing is to strike a relationship of being like a friend, right? And in friendship, it's much more easier flowing together, so let's try and play this purak role together. If it is not purak, it becomes murak. Right? So let's be more purak in our approach, play the complementary role, and together make the Lord happy in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.